Hey, good evening, everybody. I am so fed up of hearing about Harry and Meghan, these two dysfunctional narcissists that have left the United Kingdom and gone to live in California, spew out woke nonsense and climate alarmist claptrap. And now Harry's written a book where he tells us about his bits and when he first did something with his bits and so on. And I really wish I didn't know anything about that. I don't watch television unless I'm on a show and I watch myself on a show because I just want to see how it was on the feedback, on the playback. But I don't watch TV news. I don't watch entertainment programs on TV or TV documentaries anymore because they're all just so woke and a load of nonsense. But if you choose to watch that, that's your own fault. But I look at social media a lot because I'm looking to see what's going on in the world because I'm in politics, of course, and I want to find out important information about important things that are going on in our nation and around the world. I don't want to hear about narcissists who think they're celebrities and spew out loads of absolute nonsense all the time, but then appear in my feeds and there's nothing I can really do about it. I mean, I'm sure that almost everybody who watches this channel would feel the same. Can we just stop talking about them? Can we put a button that says, I don't want to see anything more about Harry and Meghan ever in my life so I can think about the important things? And of course, there are so many more important things that we need to think about and talk about. I mean, there is an immigration crisis across the English Channel. The government is deliberately exacerbating that and putting military-aged men around the country in 4- and 5-star hotels, and that's causing problems in communities up and down the land. What would Meghan and Harry say about that? Probably nothing. Probably, or if you don't like them, you're racist or something. Not they did say that, but I imagine that, they've made accusations of racism against people in the royal family. I'm not a big fan of the people in the royal family, particularly people like Prince Andrew and so on, but I don't believe that they're racist, but that's just a whole argument that perpetrates this narrative that Britain and other Western countries are systemically racist, which is absolutely untrue, and it's a great calumny, and the UK is one of the most welcoming countries to people of all nations and all skin colours and all peoples that you could find. So to accuse the UK of systemic racism and try to build this narrative, I think is really deplorable. That's just one issue. We have the energy issue with the whole net zero nonsense, with the government and the opposition and all the parties in parliament acting together to destroy and literally demolish our energy infrastructure by blowing up coal power stations, for example. And then that's exacerbated by them pursuing and promoting and prolonging an unnecessary conflict, which is now essentially turned into a war, a proxy war at least, with Russia in Ukraine. And we need to de-escalate that situation. Nobody in the mainstream or the mainstream parties is wanting to de-escalate it at all. They're all talking it up. But if we keep on talking that up, it doesn't matter what Harry and Meghan say. If there's a nuclear conflict, well, nobody's going to survive that. So we need to make sure that we avoid escalating this situation and could so easily be de-escalated and brought to an end by people being willing to negotiate. That's just one of many, many issues that we need to sort out in our country. The terrible things and materials that are going into our schools at the moment to confuse children about biological sex and gender. And I'll speak about that a lot. That's another huge issue, the economic problems and issues that people have and the cultural issues that people have. All around our nation and all around the world. These things need to be spoken of. And they are far, far more important, and there's far, far more important things to do and to spend your time thinking about and to engage your mind in than actually talking about these two woke, deplorable people who've written, well, Harry here has written quite a deplorable book, as it seems, which he's trying to sell at the moment this week. I think they should be stripped of their titles as Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Sussex deserves better. I come from Sussex. I was born in Littlehampton. I grew up in a village called Barnham, which is near Bognor Regis. And I'll be standing for Parliament in Bognor Regis and Littlehampton in the next general election. So here in Sussex. And I would say on behalf of the people of Sussex, whoever can do so, get rid of their titles and free the county of Sussex from being associated with these two dreadful people. I don't want anything to do with them. I certainly think that Sussex deserves far, far better than them. So that's all that I would actually say about them. I don't comment on the royal family too much because I'm in two minds about them. The Constitution of England, which is developed into the Constitution of the United Kingdom, most of that was kept, is a very, very good constitution if all the people in all the different roles that need to be played in the Constitution do them well and they live up to the oaths that they take. And the monarch swears the coronation oath, where they swear to uphold the laws of God in the land and to be the defender of the faith, as in the Christian faith, and uphold the 10 commandments on which our law and our society is based and has its foundation. If you have a monarch that does that, and all the other people that swear allegiance to the monarch who's sworn allegiance to God all uphold what they're supposed to do, then society can work very well. Although I do have very grave misgivings about the current monarch, who is very much involved in the World Economic Forum and their plans for Agenda 2030 and transhumanism and all the rest of it. And that is far, far more serious an issue, really, in the long term for our nation than any sort of fluff and nonsense that comes from these two narcissists that live in California. So we need to actually refocus away from all of these silly distractions, these celebrity distractions, whatever, this nonsense that comes out of people to keep people just arguing on a very low level and engaging with really low level nonsense, and actually raise our country up and restore our nation to what it could be and should be. And if we can do anything, let's just ignore them. I know I've made a whole video about them. I made a whole video about Prince, Harry and Meghan, saying we should ignore them. But there you go. I won't make another one because I don't really like to talk about them. I don't like to think about them. It's just that at the moment, this week, they seem to be all over the place. They're omnipresent. And we need to make it so they're not omnipresent, and the best thing that we can do, if possible, is to ignore them and to think about things that are far more important.